How you going, all you beautiful people? Welcome back. It's good to see you. And if you're new, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope this video helps. This video is inspired by this gentleman, Nisargadatta Maharaj. If you spend a bit of time around spiritual circles, you'll eventually hear of this man. And like I said, this video is inspired by one of his teachings, one of his sayings, which is, you are prior to consciousness. In non-duality, they always talk about you are consciousness, you are pure consciousness. This is a matter of semantics ultimately, because Nisargadatta says you are prior to consciousness. Non-duality says you are consciousness. So let's just clear up these terms. In Advaita, non-duality, they talk about your essence is pure consciousness. The consciousness that belongs to this body, they class as reflected consciousness. This is what a lot of non-dual teachers fail to mention too, and it can be confusing for the student. So your pure consciousness, this body has reflected consciousness. A good way to think of this is, the sun has intrinsic light. The moon has no light. The moon reflects the sunlight. It's reflected light. This body reflects pure consciousness. But what does Nisargadatta say? Your true essence is like pure awareness that knows the consciousness of this body. This can get a bit confusing with all these terms, but basically what I'm going to do is a guided meditation. Yes, it's self-inquiry. Some of you probably don't like it, but we're going to do it really slowly to get to this prior to consciousness that Nisargadatta was talking about. We're all aware of the world. We have 5 senses. Most of us have 5 functioning senses: to see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it. We don't think we're the world. It's known to us through the 5 senses. I should also mention thinking. 5 senses and thinking. We can also think about the world. Let's go to this body. This body that everyone can experience. I can experience, and everyone. It's a public body. I can see it. I can hear it if I've got a rumbling stomach or any other functions of the body. I can hear it. I can taste it. I'm not going to lick my hand, but it's probably going to taste salty. I can touch it. And I can smell it, especially during lockdown 4 years ago. I admit there were some days I didn't have a shower. So basically, the 5 senses can see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it. Just like the world. Let's go one step further. Breathing. When you get into meditation, they talk about focus on your breathing. I can hear it. I can feel it. Can probably smell it if I've got bad breath. It's more subtle than the physical, but it is still an experience, breathing. What's even subtler? Feeling. I can feel my feelings, obviously. I can think about them. There's less you can do. The less 5 senses can be engaged, the subtler you go. So I can feel them. I can think about them. What about thoughts? Now we're getting even more subtler. You can't see the thoughts. You can't hear the thoughts. You can't smell the thoughts. You can't taste the thoughts. You can't feel the thoughts, but you can think about thoughts. See how with each level it's getting subtler and subtler? You can think thoughts, but the whole point is you know the thoughts. You see them come and go. What about ego? The feeling, I am. I'm a person. You might feel that in your knee, your elbow. Some people might say in their heart. They might feel their ego here. But I feel my ego behind my eyes, in between my ears, right here. Not at the top of my head, not in my chin. Behind my eyes, in between my ears. I can locate ego. I can objectify it. What about intellect? The part of the mind that says, I understand what you're saying. I don't understand what you're saying. I didn't understand, now I do. The intellect is the reasoning part of the mind. The mind deals with thoughts, feelings, emotions, always changing, but the intellect brings reasoning in. I sometimes like to think of it like, the mind is like a child, the parent is like the intellect. The child wants this and then it wants that. It's unstable, it's fickle, but the mind brings some reasoning in. Like a child, do your chores, do your homework. The child doesn't want to, but it's for long-term happiness for the child. But my whole point is, are you aware of the intellect? Do you know this intellect? Yes. So where are we right now? Let's just review. I experience the world. I experience the body, the gross body. I experience my breathing. I experience my thoughts, my feelings, my ego, my intellect. We're running out of things. We're knowing all this. What about, now we're going to get close to his message. What about the feeling I am? I am conscious. Do you feel like you exist? Does this body feel like it exists? Do you feel conscious? Do sometimes you feel consciously alert, consciously tired, consciously irritable, consciously happy? Yes? Here's where we go back even one more step. What knows the feeling of consciousness? This is what Nisargadatta Maharaj was pointing out. You're not the consciousness of this body. You're that which knows this body. It's totally unknowable. You can't go back anymore. If you could go back another step, the question would be, then what knows that? And this is the issue with spiritual teachings. Your essence is unknowable beyond all language, beyond all conception, but the essence of you can't speak. It can't ask questions. It doesn't need answers because it doesn't ask questions. In other words, this body is like an instrument for this unfathomable, pure awareness that you are to use as an instrument, to be able to express itself, to be able to realize its infinite nature. Your essence is totally unknowable, which shines its pure knowingness on this body, makes it known, which at the same time, by using intellect, we can infer, I'm not this body, I'm not this mind, I'm not this world. We can infer that we have non-objective qualities. These teachings are so hard to convey. I'm doing my best with language. This will clear up why a lot of enlightened people say, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind. You're thinking, you're a person, dude. Why do you keep saying you're not this, you're not this? Because your essence can't speak. To make this more clear, it's like your mind. Your mind can't speak. When you say, I'm happy, your mind is happy, but your mind can't speak. So what does it do? It uses the instrument of the mouth, the tongue, the teeth, the vocal cords to express happiness. The mind can't speak, uses the mouth as a tool to express happiness. The same with our true nature. Non-objective qualities. Ask no questions, needs no answers, always one. Infinite, eternal, that projects a finite, limited world out of itself. You can't turn around and see what you are. You can only intuit. The whole point of spirituality, our mind wants to know. I want to know my true nature. I want to experience oneness. I want to experience my true self. It can't. The only thing spiritual teachings can do is show your mind the limits of your mind. It takes your mind to the limit, and at a certain point, your mind has to surrender and go, I get it now. They talk about my essence is unknowable. It's prior to language, prior to time, prior to space. When you first get into spirituality, you might go, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, that sounds cool. I believe it. No, you can't believe it. All these teachings are trying to get you to that point in your mind, in your intellect, where you have to come to the realization, I can't go back any further. White flag, I surrender. In that moment, the mind is satisfied. It's like, yep, I know, the mind knows its limits. The mind realizes I have objective qualities, the mind does. I can only see an objective reality, but my source is prior to all this. This is where your identification over time slowly shifts from this body and mind. When we say I, we talk about this usually, but then it shifts to I am that. What Nisargadatta Maharaj was talking about. And like I've mentioned in other videos, and I'll continue to make videos about this, what are the implications of realizing this? The first step is to realize it, and then let this understanding guide your actions moving forward. And it's a spiritual practice because we're so in the habit of living like this person. It's natural. The mind responds to ideas, the body responds to habit. So even when you get this understanding, the body's still in the routine. I'm a person living a life. I need happiness from the world. But that's why spiritual practice is a daily thing. And it can be done at all times. People don't need to know that you're constantly got this on your mind while you're performing actions. But keeping this knowledge in the back of your mind slowly purifies your actions, opens you up. You start realizing the world appears divided and it's no big deal. It is just the one source appearing as many. And instead of thinking, I'm a person, a separate person in a separate world, you feel like I'm here and the world's there. You have this sense of embracing all of reality. You realize wherever you are, that's basically whatever you're experiencing is the source. You can't escape the source. You're in the source. It's like a fish in water. And like I've mentioned in other videos, how does that fix my bills? How does that fix my health? Transactional problems require transactional solutions, but it gives you this sense of so much inner peace, oneness. You don't feel like I'm cut off from everything. You realize you are everything. You, in a sense, embrace all of reality. Interact with it through the root of love, not the root of fear. This is why this teaching is very subtle, but once you get it, it is so important. This is the whole goal of spirituality. Lasting, solid inner peace. Not thinking, like I've mentioned in other videos, we get so absorbed in thinking. We pay attention to the thought, it grows, and then it overtakes us. We become these thoughts. I'm nothing, I'm worthless. What's the point of anything? Because they make you feel limited. You're getting brainwashed by your own thinking. You need to snap out of it. See reality for what it is. See your true essence, your true nature. And like I've mentioned before, this is why I made this channel. I'm so passionate about this. This kind of stuff is life-changing. In Western culture, we're so materialistic. Fair enough, but we've lost that spiritual connection. It's so important. There's nothing wrong with the material world, but don't attach your happiness in it. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with getting rich, successful, healthy body, good-looking body. Nothing wrong. But don't put your identity in it. That's a trap. You're investing in something that's going to fall apart. This world's going to fall apart. Your body's going to fall apart. So anchor your intellect, anchor your happiness in your true nature, while still enjoying the movie of life, while still fixing problems. You don't have to be a pacifist and just let everything fall apart. People beat each other up. People hurt each other, rob each other. You need to stop bad people, of course. Transactional level. Transactional problems require transactional solutions. But the knowing of oneness, the understanding that there is just the source emanating this. And what are you? You are the source, not this person prior to this person. This is true for all of us. I hope this helps. And like always, I'm going to make so many more videos. So please comment, like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you in the next video. And until then, take care of yourselves, hey? Have a good day.